You think you're free. You think you're making your own choices. But right now, at this very moment, you are sitting in Plato's cave, and your phone is the chain that keeps you there. Let me show you something uncomfortable. Pick up your phone right now. Look at your screen time from yesterday. 8 hours? 9? Now ask yourself, how much of that was a conscious decision? How much of it did you actually choose? The answer is almost none of it. You were hijacked. And the worst part? You paid for the privilege. In 380 BCE, Plato told a story about prisoners chained in a cave since childhood. They faced a wall where shadows were projected by a fire behind them. These shadows, mere reflections of reality, were all the prisoners had ever known. To them, the shadows were reality. They had no concept of the true world outside the cave. Now, imagine one prisoner is freed. He's dragged up, out of the cave, into the blinding sunlight. At first it's painful. His eyes burn. He can't see. Everything he thought was real is revealed to be a lie. But gradually, his vision adjusts. He sees trees, sky, the actual sun, the source of all light and truth. He realizes he's been living in a prison of illusion his entire life. This is where the story gets dark. The freed prisoner returns to the cave to liberate his fellow captives. He tells them about the real world, the trees, the sky, the sun. But the other prisoners don't thank him. They think he's insane. They mock him. And Plato says if they could, they would kill him, because the truth is more terrifying than the comfortable lie. Here's what Plato understood 2,400 years ago that most people still don't understand today. We prefer our chains. We prefer the predictable shadow to the dangerous light. We prefer the comfortable illusion to the painful truth. And in 2025, that cave isn't made of stone. It's made of glass, metal, and algorithmic precision. Your phone is the most sophisticated cave humanity has ever built. Let me explain the mechanics of your imprisonment. Every app on your phone was designed by behavioral psychologists, neuroscientists, and engineers with one goal: maximize your engagement, not your happiness. Not your growth, your engagement. They studied slot machines. They studied drug addiction. They studied Pavlovian conditioning. Then they built a device you carry in your pocket 16 hours a day. The variable reward schedule. This is the core mechanism. You pull down to refresh, and sometimes you get a dopamine hit. A like, a message, a notification that makes you feel seen, but you never know when it's coming. That uncertainty is what makes it addictive. It's the same principle that keeps people pulling slot machine levers for hours, and you do it 2,600 times per day. But here's where it gets truly insidious. These shadows aren't random, they're curated specifically for you. The algorithm learns your fears, your insecurities, your desires. It knows what makes you angry, what makes you anxious, what makes you feel inadequate. And then it shows you more of exactly that. Because anger keeps you scrolling. Anxiety keeps you checking. Inadequacy keeps you comparing. You think you're seeing reality. You think you're staying informed, staying connected. But you're watching shadows. Curated shadows. Shadows designed to keep you in the cave. That political outrage? Shadow. That idealized vacation photo that makes you feel like your life is inadequate? Shadow. That news story engineered to trigger your fear response? Shadow. None of it is the full truth. All of it is designed to keep you chained to the wall. And here's the most brilliant part of this modern cave. Unlike Plato's prisoners, you're not physically chained. You can leave anytime you want, but you won't. Because the psychological chains are stronger than iron. FOMO. The fear that you're missing something important. The anxiety that if you disconnect, you'll be left behind. The terror of being alone with your own thoughts. Let me tell you what happened to me. 3 months ago, I deleted every social media app from my phone. Not because I'm some purist or technophobe, but because I needed to know if I was still in control of my own mind. The first 48 hours were hellish. I reached for my phone every 7 minutes. My hand moved automatically to the place where Instagram used to be. I felt phantom vibrations. I felt like I was missing something critical, even though rationally, I knew I wasn't. That's when I realized I had been living in a cave. My thoughts weren't my own. My attention wasn't my own. My time wasn't my own. I had outsourced my consciousness to an algorithm. And the moment I stepped out of the cave, into the painful light of presence and boredom and real, unmediated reality, I saw how deeply I'd been imprisoned. Here's what nobody tells you about leaving the cave. Real life is boring. Profoundly, uncomfortably boring. There are no variable rewards. No instant feedback loops. No curated highlights. You sit with yourself. You think slow, difficult thoughts. You face the parts of your life you've been using your phone to avoid. And that's exactly why most people never leave. The cave is comfortable. The shadows are familiar. The chains feel like freedom. But here's the truth. Plato understood. The shadows aren't just distractions, they're preventing you from seeing who you actually are. Every time you reach for your phone out of discomfort, you're avoiding the most important work of your life, the confrontation with your authentic self. Carl Jung called this individuation the process of becoming whole, and you cannot do it while chained to a wall, watching shadows dance. Let me be clear. I'm not telling you to throw your phone in the ocean and become a Luddite. Technology isn't evil, but the way it's designed right now, it's a cage. A sophisticated, addictive, data-harvesting cage that profits from your attention, your anxiety, and your inability to sit still. The question isn't whether you use technology. The question is, does it serve you, or do you serve it? Here's how you know you're still in the cave. You can't sit in silence for 10 minutes without reaching for your phone. You check it first thing in the morning, before you've even processed who you are that day. You scroll while eating, while walking, while having conversations with people you claim to love. You're never fully present because part of you is always in the cave, watching shadows, waiting for the next dopamine hit. Plato believed the freed prisoner had a moral obligation to return to the cave and attempt to free others, even knowing they might kill him for it. So here I am, telling you the uncomfortable truth. You are chained. Your thoughts are being manipulated. Your time is being stolen. Your sense of self is being fragmented and sold to advertisers. And the hardest part is that your chains are invisible. They feel like choice. They feel like connection. They feel like freedom. But they're not freedom. They're the opposite. Every notification is a pull on your chain. Every autoplay video is another shadow on the wall. Every algorithmic feed is a curator deciding what reality you're allowed to see. And the truly terrifying part? The technology is getting better. The chains are getting tighter. The shadows are getting more convincing. In 5 years, in 10 years, we might not be able to tell the difference between the cave and reality at all. So what do? How do you break the chain? It starts with awareness. You have to see the cave for what it is. Then comes the painful part. You have to choose the discomfort of freedom over the comfort of captivity. Delete the apps that hijack your attention. Turn off notifications. Create friction between you and the screen. Reclaim your morning. Reclaim your meals. Reclaim your mind. Will it be uncomfortable? Yes. Will you feel anxious, bored, even existentially unmoored? Absolutely. Will your friends think you're weird? Probably. But here's what Plato knew. The journey out of the cave is supposed to hurt. Your eyes are supposed to burn. You're supposed to struggle. That's how you know it's real. That's how you know you're finally seeing the sun instead of its shadow. The greatest trick of the modern cave is that it convinced you that you're already free. That scrolling is leisure. That digital connection is real connection. That the curated highlights of other people's lives are worth comparing to your unfiltered reality. But you're not free. You're a prisoner who's forgotten what the sun looks like. I'm not saying this is easy. I'm not saying you'll do it perfectly. But I am saying this. Every moment you spend genuinely present, not mediated by a screen, not curated by an algorithm, not optimized for engagement, is an act of rebellion. It's a refusal to be chained. It's a step toward the light. And it's the most important work you can do in a world designed to keep you distracted, divided, and imprisoned. So here's my challenge to you. For the next 48 hours, practice leaving the cave. Don't check your phone for the first hour after you wake up. Don't scroll during meals. Sit with your discomfort. Notice how often your hand reaches for the device. Notice what you're avoiding. Notice the shadows you've been watching, and ask yourself, is this reality? Or is this just what someone wants me to see? The world outside the cave is harder, stranger, more painful than the shadows. But it's also more beautiful, more true, and more worthy of your finite life. Plato was right 2,400 years ago, and he's still right today. The question is, will you stay chained to the wall, watching shadows, or will you turn around, face the light, and discover what you've been missing? The cave is comfortable. The light is terrifying. But only one of them is real. Choose wisely. If this message made you uncomfortable, good. That means it's working. Tell me in the comments, how many hours did you spend on your phone yesterday? And be honest, no one here is judging. Hill's motivational video reads every response. We're all trying to break the same chains together. If you're ready to explore what else is keeping you imprisoned, watch my video on the dark side of your personality, how to use Jungian shadow work to gain power. It's the perfect companion to this lesson, understanding the internal caves we build for ourselves. And if you're committed to reclaiming your sovereignty in a world designed to steal it, like this video, and subscribe to Hill's motivational video. This is a war for your attention, your time, and your soul. Let's fight it together with philosophical courage.